Welcome as we look at the Gospel of John with eyes for Generation Z. My name is Tanita Maddox, and we're going to read through the Gospel of John, keeping in mind 6 key questions that Generation Z is asking based on their values and worldview, and 2 key questions they're asking about God. The goal of this project is to uncover and share a relevant Bible reading and gospel to Generation Z.
Welcome to Reading John with Eyes for Generation Z. Today we are in John chapter 3, 1 through 15, Jesus' interaction with Nicodemus, as well as we're going to take a little peek into verse 17. The questions we're going to address today are, can I trust you? Will you accept me? Can you prove that God is real? This really starts in verse 2 when Nicodemus says, we know that you are a teacher come from God, for no one can do the signs that you do unless God is with him. He's making a statement as well as asking a question at the same time. He really is asking, can I trust you? Are you who you say you are? Are you from God? Are you God? And his reason for asking the question is, you are doing things that only God can do. So he's paying attention to things that he cannot explain, things that are happening that are around him that seem to be only from God. We can connect this with the world of kids with things around them that they can't explain except for saying good luck or random or weird circumstances. So can you prove God is real? Well, in verse 12, we have Jesus saying, if I have told you of earthly things and you do not believe, how will you believe about heavenly things? We know that in verse 2, Nicodemus has already seen things that only God can explain. And in this sense, he's still asking for more proof. And Jesus is really saying, if you don't believe what I've already shown you, how will you believe something new? How will you believe something else that I bring to you? We have in verse 8, the wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. So the wind is there. It blows where it wants to. It comes and goes from different places, but we believe in its existence. There are things that science cannot explain. It does have boundaries. There's this great book, Believing is Seeing, that talks about how science and faith actually go together. And really, it also says, it's what science does believe that absolute truth exists. Science believes there are truths that cannot be proven. Science believes that the universe is designed for life. So there's some pieces in here where we go, yeah, guess what? There's boundaries to science, but science also supports that there is truth that cannot be proven. So I like to challenge kids and go, is there a chance, is there a possibility that God has been doing things in your life, that he has shown up in ways that you can't explain, and that we just didn't believe it was him? We found other reasons to explain the things that happened, whether it was, like, again, random or circumstance or just good luck. Is it possible that that was God interacting with our life? And so when we go to God and we say, please give me a sign, show me something more, there's this piece of Jesus going, I have shown you things and you've chosen not to believe them. And that's not to be judgmental or condemning with kids, but also challenging to say, are you willing to look at the things that maybe God's already done and think it's God? But are you open-minded enough to pay attention to the ways he's showing up that maybe you're not asking for? The final thought or challenge to kids, if I did club talk out of here, would be to be open-minded enough to the idea that truth exists that cannot be proven, and that God is showing up in ways that we have not paid attention to. And so not to be so closed-minded that we think God only shows up in certain ways or answers our prayers or shows us certain signs in the ways that we want it, but it's much bigger than that. One further extension we could make with this is that, we could ask our kids, do you ever feel like you're talking and maybe adults around you or others around you aren't listening? They're not understanding what you're saying. You're missing each other in communication on that level. It could be the same way with God, where he is communicating with us, showing us, proving to us that he exists. But if it's not in the way that we would like to receive that communication, we might miss it. Finally, in that verse 15, will you accept me, that Jesus says, whoever believes may have eternal life. Now, eternal life is a term we would have to unpack in club as this idea of course, we know that we will physically die, and that's a reality of life, but getting to have this afterlife with Jesus forever, with God forever. Sentence really does mean, if you believe me, I will accept you. I want to jump down to verse 17. For God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him. And the reason I want to pop into this verse real fast is because there's this idea that Christians, Christ followers, people of faith are judgmental, and that is an extension of who God is, that God is judgmental. What this verse really is saying is the main job of Jesus is not to judge, but to save. So there's a difference between a judge and being judgmental. A judge just defines what is right or wrong. And Jesus comes to save. To say that sin is problematic, it will destroy us, but then offering a different way, offering redemption, offering freedom, offering restoration. He's accepting. He wants to give a gift. He wants to be together. Now, being judgmental is saying what's right or wrong and then letting that define who you are, how that person will look at you through that lens. And so even here we have Jesus came to save, not to define you by your sin, but to offer a different way.